Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us for another Praise Daily. We have just finished the entire book of John together, and today we're starting a new book of the Bible called James. And if you're looking for some context or some background information on the book of James, you can head to praise.fyi, and on that daily tab, you will see a context video kind of explaining the background of what's happening in this book of the Bible. But for today, we're going to jump right into it. In James chapter 1, starting in verse 5, here's what we read. If you need wisdom, ask our generous God, and he will give it to you. He will not rebuke you for asking. I love this verse. Ask our generous God for wisdom, and he will give it to you. But it continues. James goes on to say that there might actually be a little bit of a catch to this. Let's continue in that next verse, verse 6. But when you ask him, be sure that your faith is in God alone. Do not waver, for a person with divided loyalty is as unsettled as a wave of the sea that is blown and tossed by the wind. Such people should not expect to receive anything from the Lord. Their loyalty is divided between God and the world. They are unstable in everything they do. I love the word picture here of us being a wave tossed back and forth by our desires to please God, our desires to please the world, that back and forth that we find ourselves in. And it's not that in the middle of that, God won't give us wisdom when we ask. I think what he's getting at is that when we find ourselves distracted and caught in the anxiety of this, it causes us to miss the wisdom when it does come. I think that in the middle of it, God is speaking, but because his wisdom can be so different than the wisdom of the world, when we're distracted and unfocused, we often miss what God's trying to say. So here's what we're gonna do. I'd love it if you'd spend some time in prayer this morning asking God for some wisdom in an area that you might need it in. But before you do that, would you take a couple minutes just to slow down and breathe and ask God to help you settle your heart on him, to help you settle all of your anxieties and your fears and the things that are racing through your mind, help you settle all those things on him so that when he speaks, you're able to see and know what he's speaking to you. And then why don't we help each other out? In the comments below, would you post a practice or a thought or something that you do to help you settle your heart on Jesus? Thank you so much for joining us. We'd love to see you again tomorrow for James chapter 2.